The Sportscast, December 8th, 2021. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, Twitter, twitch.tv, and YouTube, and also Apple Podcasts. But if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. Also visit our website, thesportscast.net, and you can download our app, The Sportscast, for iOS. Today was the last day and also the last week of Champions League for 2021 before we head into the Christmas break. And, of course, Champions League will continue till next year. But a man that knows his food in Austin, I know my food in Miami. One day we'll converge. Justin Simmons, welcome back to the Sportscast.
Hey, Santi, thanks for having me. I think you give me too much credit, man. You definitely know more about the food here in Austin than I probably do at this point. Sending me all these messages saying, hey, have you tried this? Hey, have you had this? Hey, have you tried this? I'm like, no, man. I did go to Easy Tiger today, though.
How was that?
Oh, it's awesome. It's always been. Like, I remember the original location downtown. It was pretty solid then, but today, I mean, look, I can't pay $14 for a pretzel. You can go during happy hour, and I think it's like $6, but it's really good. But I had the bratwurst with like the sauerkraut, and like the bread's all handmade, and yeah, man, it was worth the money. It was like $12 for that.
That sounds very German, by the way.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of German influence in Texas, especially in this area. I mean, you think about New Braunfels and Schlitterbahn, the whole water theme park.
Makes sense.
That's all like a whole German city, basically.
Now, you told me last time about Pete Terry's. I was Googling. I actually talked to people that lived in Austin. They will agree with you. Pete Terry's is the best burger in Austin, at least for like the, like the area. You're right.
Yeah, like fast food wise,
yeah,
definitely the taste, the ingredients that they use. I know it can be love or hate on their fries. I enjoy them. Their home fries, though, for breakfast, man, that's where it's at. If they just made those all day, I would get that all the time.
So they serve breakfast at Pete Terry's.
Yeah, but it's still nothing's better than the Whataburger biscuit because they actually hand make those.
I did not know that. Interesting. And also, I was talking to another Austinite, and he was saying that Pete Terry's makes it as much as organic as much as possible.
Pretty much from what I read and from what I hear. And their shakes, they're all real, like, dairy. So, yeah, I mean, they don't pay me to say all this. If they want to, it's not going to hurt if they want to sponsor me. I got a lot of things that can use some sponsoring.
Same here. Yeah, same here. And also, all of them say, yeah, it's better than In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, yeah, by far. Like, I don't know. I know there's going to be some Californians that just moved here to Austin like 2 hours ago. They're going to be like, whoa, In-N-Out's the best. And I'm going to be like, it's nowhere close.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, the Neapolitan shake, interesting. It's not bad, but still, come on.
Yeah, just not enough. Of course, I've always heard the fries are a little bit too simple. But anyways.
Oh, they're gross. Yeah, for real. It's like it's not even like
animal style. Everyone says go for animal style when it comes to fries.
Even worse.
Oh, okay.
It's just like dancing in the rain.
Barcelona, they got eliminated today in the Champions League. Biggest story. They haven't done so since 2004, I believe. Lost 3-0 against Bayern Munich, which they are considered one of the best teams in Europe as of right now, maybe a final contender. Goals by Thomas Müller, Leroy Sané in the first half, and then, of course, they got a goal from Musale. But this team, the Catalonian Gigantes, Justin Simmons, just not their year. After
all. Not Gigante no more. Way.
Exactly.
But man, it wasn't their year going into this. It's definitely going to take a little bit more time to rebuild. Things have just not gone their way. But Xavi, that seems to be a good start. He was already getting it done in the Middle East with those teams, how he was able to construct his, like, essentially the Barca way of playing. And you've already seen that he's already kind of helped reestablish some of that old ways at the Camp Nou. Now, again, it's going to take time. He's still going to need new players. but can't sign any new players. Yeah, there's a lot to have to work around. So I'm not sure if the bounce back is going to be as quick as most Barca fans are going to want.
Yeah, and I was like questioning letting go of Koeman because I thought that, it just didn't make much of a difference who's going to be the coach. Barcelona was going to fail anyways,
Yeah.
and they're kind of really middle to bottom half of the table in La Liga, which is something that's unusual. We haven't seen that in a while, I guess.
Oh, it's been a long time, but again, this is a completely different era, essentially, of soccer that this club is playing. It's post-COVID, lost tons of money, haven't been able to make it up because of the lack of fans at the gate. Everything had to change, and they're still, and then, playing post-Messi, it's like, how do you have to rebuild completely, but they don't want to completely tear down and start over. They want to remain at the top, but it's so difficult when every other team has improved or is continuously getting better, and you cannot. Like they cannot spend the money to get better. The coaching change is the only change that they could make, unfortunately, because when things are going this bad, somebody has to take the blame.
Yeah, big shoes to fill with Messi leaving. Same for Real Madrid, you can say, but Madrid has been handling okay since Ronaldo left. Do you think?
Yeah, much better between the two teams, considering the players that did leave happened to be the best players of the last generation. I think that's easily safe to say. But Benzema having a renaissance in his career, I mean, the form that he was in, even just a couple of weeks ago, I mean, that was easily able to carry Madrid to where they were, to where they're at the top of the Champions League.
Yeah, Madrid doing okay or good. I can't say great because I haven't won a trophy. They probably won one or two, maybe like La Liga, but Champions League they have not. But we'll see what happens in this tournament. The other big game today was Chelsea tying with Zenit 3-3. Chelsea finished number 2 in the group. Juventus ahead of them. Zenit was fighting for their lives a little bit, but they could not beat Chelsea and the foes. But this Chelsea team, Justin, you think was this a big boo-boo, or do you think, hey, we'll take second place?
Man, that's tough to say, because I was thinking now, and let me ask you this, though. Are they the toughest second place team available? Like, if you're a first place team, do you want to play Chelsea? I know I don't.
I would say so. The other big second place team is PSG. That's the only other team that I could think of. But yeah, Chelsea is the defending champions, Justin.
I mean, as a City fan, I'm not really concerned about PSG just because City was able to top them in the same group. But as a City fan, I don't know. Chelsea does concern me. They just always seem to find a way to pull it out. And with Tuchel at the helm, if they have a healthy Christian Pulisic, I always know that he can be a difference maker. But who would have thought that Timo Werner would be having the type of goal scoring run that he's having right now, where he's leading them in goals, especially during this Champions League? And that's because they have Lukaku and what's his name, Mason Mount, who is another solid player. Yeah. I mean, this is a really good squad, and I think they're the squad that probably gives City the most problems. And I think it's City's Champions League to lose. I think they're the most complete squad.
Yes.
Besides Bayern.
Yeah, it's a trophy that Man City and Guardiola has been pursuing for the past, I guess, at least 10 years. Guardiola just got there a few years ago. But yeah, as Justin was saying, 2 goals by Timo Werner, which the first goal was at minute 2, and then his other goal was the 65th minute, then Lukaku, and the Zenit team, Claudinho 39th, Armand 41, Ozadev 90. It was full of goals, but no winner.
I mean, for me, that's cool. I'm not a Chelsea guy, so I don't mind seeing Zenit, play as well as they did. But again, my concern is when the draw comes up and those pairings come up for the second round, who draws Chelsea? I really would not want to face them in that first knockout stage. Maybe somewhere down the road, but not right after finishing at the top of the table. And I'm talking as a City fan.
Would agree that they will be the toughest second seed team versus PSG. PSG is not all there. My PSG friend was saying, yeah, Pochettino just not pushing them to the limits.
I think there's a lot of unrest probably in the locker room because Mbappe wants out. And while he doesn't say anything, you can imagine, you know what it's like to show up to work, even though you get paid well and stuff, but you don't want to be there. You want to be somewhere else. It's tough. You have to block that out and perform because it's your job. And then Messi, while he scored in the last couple of matches, he's had a really tough time transitioning to playing in France. I'm not sure, maybe the weather. Think about it. He's played in warmer climates his entire career. So France, it does get a little colder, especially during this time of the year. Finally got going. Let's see if this kind of propels him. I think the big question is, did he really deserve the Ballon d'Or? There was a lot of debate on that. Obviously, Lewandowski probably should have won it with the seasons that he has had, not just this year, but the last 2 years. But they're giving Messi a lot of credit for finally winning a major international tournament with Argentina.
Yeah, which it weighs a lot of heavy. Of course, as Justin was saying, Lewandowski was a favorite with probably majority of the fans. I've not heard anyone say, "Oh, Messi deserves it hands down." But I think Lewandowski, which I think it could have been his last chance. Maybe not. Never say never.
Ooh, I mean, I think if he went to a team like City, Lewandowski would score even more goals. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to be the same impact player that he is right now, where he carries everybody. But if you can build another squad around him, I mean, think about it, he's playing with Thomas Moyer. The guy's ancient. I mean, can you imagine if you can give him some younger legs around him? Oh man, he would be so explosive. So yeah, I think he can win Ballon d'Or. He should, because besides him, who would be next? It's going to be a Haaland and Mbappe.
Yeah,
possibly. Maybe last year we would have said Sancho, but he hasn't really shown anything much with United this year. So it's again, I don't know.
N'Golo
who would be the
Kante
next
came
person.
at 5th in this ordering, I think.
Wow.
So
I mean, if they would have taken the votes right after Champions League, he would have been the Ballon d'Or winner.
Oh, absolutely. Other scores: Benfica beating Kiev 2-0. Man United tied Young Boys 1-1. Young Boys is the Swiss team in Switzerland. Goals by Greenwood and goals by Reeder. But Man United finishes in first place, Group F.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised too. I had to double take it when I was looking through the table before I came on with you, and I was like, there's no way that they finished at the top of the group. They're so bad in Premier League, and I didn't think they were playing well during Champions League. But I think, can I ask you, has the coverage been difficult for Champions League? I'm not a big fan of the goal zone thing. It's not as good as NFL Red Zone. I wish it was, but
I have not watched that channel or that show. I mean, where they do Red Zone. I have not seen it.
Yeah, it's on CBS Sports Network, but they don't really show actual games unless you're going to pay for Paramount Plus.
Oh, I gotcha.
And then
it's $6 a month.
I just don't want to have to pay extra, man. So I just watch my games in Spanish. It doesn't bother me.
Me too. I watch it in 2D and it because I have Fubo TV, and why pay an extra $5 for CBS Sports?
Exactly.
Or Paramount.
Unless they have a game that I really, really want to watch and I can't watch anywhere else. But it's just at some point, it's I can't just be spending money just to watch what I want to watch. And I'm a big boxing fan too, so I got to save money for all those things.
Boxing adds up.
Yeah, it's probably the most expensive one. And I try not to spend too much on it. But, I mean, there was a lot of good fights this last November. And, I mean, there's a good fight even next week in San Antonio. I'm going to that one to go watch it live. So...
will you be watching the Jake Paul Woodley fight?
No, it's the same night. So I'm going to go see a legit fight, but I'm hoping that Woodley actually wins this time. What do you say? He give him $500,000?
$500,000 if he knocks out Jake. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, who doesn't want to see that, right?
That's. You think the whole Fury thing? Do you think he was really sick?
Ooh, isn't that juicy? Because we don't know, man. Because I mean, his brother or half brother, whatever you want to call him, Tyson, was saying that, oh, if my brother was sick and my brother had a broken rib or whatever, he would still be able to beat Jake Paul. And it turns out he's sick and he has like a bad rib or he's hurt or whatever, and
Right.
he pulls out. I really don't know. The Fury can't try to say like, oh, they wanted to have Jake Paul drug tested and he didn't want to succumb to the test in a certain amount of time. And this is just the pure antics of what boxing unfortunately usually is, but in this case it's super appropriate because it's Jake Paul. So I expect there to be a spectacle out of the ring before they even get into the ring, and they have sold it the best that they can right now. But am I going to spend money on it? No. Asante, you spending money on it though?
Oh man, I think I'll be out that weekend, so we'll see what happens on that fight. Anyways, back to Champions League. Let's back to Europe here. Salzburg beat Sevilla 1-0. Wolfsburg Lille beat Wolfsburg 3-1.
How good is Lille? They
Lille,
finished top of the table.
Top team in France. Who would have saw that? Who would have saw that coming? Maybe Justin did.
I wouldn't say necessarily that I saw that coming, but you just look at that squad though, and I mean, the Canadians are better than we think, right?
Oh,
Jonathan
right.
David, I mean, he's their top scorer, and I mean, he's like a true all-out striker, and I mean, you've seen it during World Cup qualification. He does it with his club team as well. We got a lot of other young guys that are really good, and this is why, Lille's qualified at the top of their table. They could be one of those dark horse teams that with all that youth and those legs where they can run forever, they could be scary.
Yeah. Hey, it is a generation for Canada and the U.S., and that's why we see them in top of the CONCACAF. So quite interesting. Juventus beat Malmo 1-0. No chance for the Swedes there.
No, unfortunately not. But you want to talk about Swedes that don't have chances at Champions League. I mean, Zlatan, AC Milan, they finish at the bottom. But Juventus, this is kind of like a resurgence for the old lady. So maybe they will get that opportunity to make one final run with that older defense.
Last dance.
To get to a fun. All you need is to have that type of play that they can do. They play a very basic style of soccer, but they're compact. They keep their lines, and they make sure to limit those half spaces really quick. And that's all you need is a tight defense and a good counterattack when it comes to these, home and away situations. And they've been one of the most consistent at it for like the last 10 years. So now that they have gotten past that first hurdle, and they're going to have the weaker draw here in round one, unless it's going to be Chelsea or something like that, then you got to like their chances at least a little bit.
Yesterday, PSG beat Club Brugge 4-1. 2 goals from Mbappe and 2 goals from Messi. That's a pretty good combination there.
Yeah, that's we kind of talked about earlier, and that's what's scaring me. Now it seems that Messi has kind of found his footing, and even though Mbappe may not be happy, he still wants to perform at a high level in Champions League in order to get that big money move and to make that money, whether it be a Real Madrid or for some roundabout way that that would take like a whole movie to discuss. Barca finds like the money and somehow buys Mbappe. We've seen stranger things in football. What happens if Mbappe goes to Newcastle, because they have the new ownership? You just don't know now. You really don't know. Just because you want to play at a glory club, I assume that at some point, even if you think you've done everything in your career, there has to be a number that you see and you're like, okay, I'll sign.
Yeah, that is quite interesting with Mbappe. Chances for him to go to Madrid, what is your percentage there?
Definitely 80%.
I think so too.
Yeah, because he wants to be out already. That's where he really wanted to go. They didn't let him go. He wants to be the star. If he goes to Madrid, he easily would be the star. Let me ask you this. Neymar was supposed to kind of be the heir apparent to Ronaldo and Messi as the next great player. He kind of didn't reach that level. Is Mbappe the guy now?
I would
because
say so.
He has, the World Cup win.
I would say
already.
Mbappe would definitely. I mean, he's been predicted to be the Pele of Europe or like the Pele of France. to win that Ballon d'Or, to be the best player in the world. Is he going to live up to it? That's the question. But I think he's starting to.
But how tough is that?
To live.
And I don't know exactly how old you may be, Santi, but when I was 18, 19, 20, I don't think I would be able to win a World Cup and keep my head on straight. I would probably just think I'm way too good for everybody else because everybody else would be saying I'm so good. And at some point, they just give you so much money and you have to get, I mean, you get to such a high. What else can give you that thrill? Like, do you keep up that pace? Or even when you get the big money, like, because we've seen it in other sports where you get the big contract and you stop performing because you stop caring. You've seen it even in soccer because Ronaldinho, he was getting those big money contracts, but they stopped coming because even though he was super talented, he didn't want to put in the work anymore. He wanted to party, and yeah, he was really good, but at some point,
yeah, it just really depends on the person. I think like people like Michael Jordan or Kobe, they had a lot of money and getting paid well, but they still wanted the chip, and for soccer, you could say the same for Messi. He has all the money in the world, but he wants to win that championship. Won it finally with Argentina in the Copa America, but it just really depends on the person and also like the player. And Mbappe, we'll see. Too,
yeah, the question is going to be: is he as competitive as Cristiano Ronaldo is?
I know Ronaldo, Messi, all those greats, and we'll see what happens, but a story to be told. Looking forward to what's going to happen if he goes to Madrid. I think his definitely his notoriety will rise more than he was at PSG.
I would say so.
Yeah, RB Leipzig, who fired Jesse March this past week, beat Man City 2-1. Not sure if that was the motivation. But what happened there, Justin?
Lack of motivation. I mean, it doesn't really matter at that point. They knew that they were top of the table, played a lot of the second team, and I know what you're thinking. City's second team is good, if not better than some teams' first teams, but still they don't have the same amount of runs, so they're trying to get into a good form when they don't get regular playing time. And then you got a guy like Fernandinho, who's as old as I am, playing in the midfield, and while he's a really good player, he's lost a step or two, and that's why he's not the everyday starter anymore. But they tried to pull it back at the end. They just couldn't get it done. But, I mean, I'll still take the result of them finishing at the top of their group. And hopefully now that, De Bruyne's coming back, Phil Foden is back, Grealish is still trying to find his footing. I still got questions about the whole Grealish signing. But if those guys can kind of work their way back in, I mean, this team's really deep. Yeah,
pretty deep. Of course, Man City's eyeing for that prize, the Champions League. More than the league? I don't know. We'll find out. Atletico Madrid beat Porto 3-1. A goal by Griezmann, Correa, and DePaul, the Argentinian.
Man, don't you just love seeing Griezmann back at Atletico?
Oh yeah, that's his home, man. Like when he went to Barcelona, it just didn't fit right. This didn't. Hey, Atletico's a good club. It's one of the top clubs in the world.
Yeah, but it just doesn't have the same glitz and glam as Barcelona. It's Atleti. They're supposed to be edgy. They're kind of like the Memphis Grizzlies, where they grind out wins. They don't do it pretty.
In the shadows of Real Madrid.
Yeah,
they're
in that too.
In the shadows, but yeah, Atletico Madrid beat Porto, of course. Atletico Madrid is in group. I gotta look that up because they're in second place after Liverpool. Porto disqualified. Okay, let's go back. Liverpool, as we said, 2-1 against AC Milan. A sweep. UCL group sweep. Goals by Salah and Origi, and Milan had Tomori. But this Liverpool team, I don't know about you. I might be biased, but they might be the best team in Europe, I think.
I think you're biased still, but yeah, I mean, the form that Salah's in, and I've always said that as much credit as everybody likes to give Salah, I really think the true superstar on that team is Mane, because he's the one that makes them tick. He's the one that is always pressing. He's the one that kind of makes them go. If you get stuck, he kind of adds that creative flair. Like, I don't see that with Salah. With Salah, he has the touch, he has the speed and the finishing ability, but it really is Sane that I think has been is the most important player to that team going forward.
Yeah, Liverpool's definitely having a great season. Definitely looks different from last year, but they're definitely looking better from 2 years ago. A force to be reckoned with, of course. Ajax 4-2 against Sporting CP. Anything there? Want to talk about that or?
I don't know too much about the roster for Ajax, but you just know that it's usually built around youth, and I need to further dissect this because again, they get it done that they are at the top of the table. And the last time they had a team like this, you had guys like De Ligt and what's the other one? He does that turn move. He's really good. He plays in the midfield. I don't know why. De Jong.
Wow.
You had the teams. You had those young guys that had big money moves because they were able to get to the semifinal that year or something.
Yeah,
like
they went
that.
deep. They haven't been there in a while, maybe since Red
The
Gullet.
glory days. Yeah. So I mean, the fact that they do this with really young players is just fascinating. So where the teams that are going to have money, where they're going to be looking to spend it, they're going to be watching teams like Ajax going forward here in Champions League.
Dortmund beat Besiktas 5-0. So the German club is definitely not moving on. They finished third with 9 points. So Sporting CP beat them out. Madrid beat Inter Milan 2-0.
Yeah.
Big one by Madrid, I would say.
Yeah, they quietly finished the top of the group. And again, you can really just say a lot of it has to do with like Benzema, Modric still playing pretty much at a high level.
Which his contract might get extended, even at that late age of his.
I know, but that's, goal scorers are the most important players in soccer because sometimes you can run your play, your sets perfectly and all that stuff is going your way, but you still can't get a goal. And sometimes you just need that person that can make something happen.
Goals by
get the finish.
Yeah, exactly. Finishers. Goals by Cruz and Asensio. So definitely two common Madrid players that have been there for a bit.
And one day Cruz won't be there anymore. When you really think about it, he's talk about old. I mean, the fact that he still gets it done on this high level.
These German players, they really set a retirement like deadline. Like most of them, or a lot of them, don't go past 35 unless you're a goalkeeper. That's what I've been seeing.
Oh yeah, but we've also seen like the advancement in health and medicine and recovery and training.
TB12.
Yeah, for some reason, right? You should know firsthand about that over in Florida, right?
Exactly.
You get that special water. I don't know what it is, but you can really play a long time if you really, really want to. It's just that it takes a lot of discipline at an older age to do so. And at some point you just turn and you got to be like, I want to sleep in that day. I imagine it has to come at some point, but Ronaldo is still, I mean, come on, think about it. This guy's getting it done in the Premier League, which is supposed to be the best league in the world and the most physical and the fastest, and he's almost 40 and he still gets it done. So if he wanted to come to MLS, say around age 45, age 46, he'd still be better than most.
Exactly. Very strong appearances from him. And lastly, a little team, FC Sheriff, ties Shakhtar Donetsk 1-1. This Sheriff team is interesting because they're in Eastern Europe. I believe they're in a country that's not a country.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, they're in a country that's not a country, but yet they exist. But what a great story, right? They came out, they beat Madrid in their group.
Yeah.
And while they weren't able to make it to the second round of Champions League, they're going to go to Europa League.
Hey, that's not
that's
bad.
really, really cool.
That's
I mean, they're going to get a chance to make some money, maybe sell some kits. I know that there's a lot of people that around the world never heard of them, but they got a cool badge, they got a cool name, so that can help with branding.
And I think them or their area that they live in or reside, they make money out of like selling weapons, or they were like the middleman or something. So they definitely have some cash flow going on there.
Yeah, right now I think it's safe to say they definitely got some cash flow going on, one way or another, right? Yeah, current events. Always running current events, yes.
So Group A, Man City 12 points, PSG 11, RB Leipzig 7, Club Brugge 4 points. Man City, PSG, pretty set in stone. Man City is the better team. PSG, not a strong second. Maybe just a second place. I can't say weak because that's a little too dull for them. Group B, Liverpool, 18 points, a sweep. Atletico Madrid, 7. Wow, big gap there.
Yeah.
Liverpool didn't have to win the last 2 games practically. Porto at 5 points, Milan at 4 points. Group C, Ajax, another good 18 points. That's still a lot. Sporting CP 9, Dortmund 9, Besiktas 0. That's the first defeat, like the Detroit Lions. Well, not anymore. Madrid 15 points, Inter 10, FC Sheriff with 7, Shakhtar Donetsk with 2 points, Bayern Munich and Group E wins the group, 18 points, another good team. Benfica 8 points, Barcelona 7 points, Dynamo Kiev 1 point. Group F, Man United 11, then Villarreal 7, Atlanta 6 points. Atlanta did not make it this time, Justin.
Not as strong defensively as they were previously, and that's really was their downfall because that's how they were able to advance so far last year. But again, a lot of it, I've been really into the whole F1 Drive to Survive series on Netflix recently, so it's just kind of like that's just how it goes. Though sometimes it's your day, and sometimes it isn't. When you are one of those teams that doesn't have all the money and doesn't have all the tools. You need everything to go right for you. And if it doesn't, it's really hard for you to compete against one of those teams that is so talented that, two or three things can go wrong, but the rest of the talent can overcome that.
Exactly.
Your team cannot.
Money, value, resources, young boys, last in Group F. Then Group G, Lille 11 points, Salzburg 10, Sevilla 6, Wolfsburg 5 points. Lille could be a force.
Yeah, again, Jonathan David, the Canadian striker with all those goals. You have a guy like that who's young, Finnish, and the rest of that team that's pretty young and has legs and that's been competing well in their domestic league. You have to kind of like their chances as one of those dark horse clubs. I don't see so much for Salzburg, but kind of like, again, their F1 racing. For some reason, Red Bull's Soccer's has been doing quite well.
Are you a Red Bull fan?
No, and I don't think I have like an F1 team. I've just been watching the series.
I mean, the drink.
No, not even. I don't really drink energy drinks.
Okay, yeah, because they're really good lately. Anyways,
is there like a new flavor or something?
Oh my gosh, if you had the watermelon.
No, I don't drink any of this stuff. So there's
good.
A watermelon one now. Okay.
Yeah, watermelon. There's a winter edition, which is a pomegranate flavor. Which
interesting.
It's interesting. It's good, but I don't want to get you into that. Anyways, Group H, Juventus 15 points, Chelsea 13, Zenit 5, Malmo 1. Chelsea, man, second place. I don't know if they did that on purpose. Maybe they're looking at some type of strategy, but that second place, I don't know, man.
No, you want to finish at the top of your group.
Yeah, it didn't sink well.
Yeah, you want to ensure that you have an easier draw, and this can still mess up some other teams' chances. Again, I'm worried that City is going to get stuck playing them in that round, and it's going to be tight, that's for sure, and it can go either way, and it might be one of those that's going to be dependent on a possible shootout.
Yeah.
It could be like one team's ahead in the first leg, the other one's able to tie it up in the second leg, and then they can't find a winner, so then they have to go to penalties, and then at that point, it's just luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw, where the luck stands. Now, what I've been seeing this Champions League and observing, it seems like this is going to be an English Champions League, meaning that I think it'll be an English winner and potentially have a championship game. Do you think the same? And of course, I would say Bayern Munich is probably, like one of the favorites as well. But do you think this has an English feel win type of Champions League?
Yeah, really good opportunity for there to be a repeat of last year where we had an all-English final. And you think of the strongest teams going into the competition. We already talked about two of them, and you added Liverpool to that. So there's 3 chances right there for England, for an English team to win Champions League, as opposed to just Real Madrid. And they're probably not one of the stronger ones, just Bayern. And even Juve is not the same Juve from years past. So it's just kind of like, you really look at the teams that are left, and, You can throw Atleti in there as well, but the strongest ones are the English clubs.
Yeah, English clubs definitely are dominating. Don't know if there's any parallels with the money they have or the great league they have, but we'll see what happens. Things have to pan out. The Champions League draw for the round of 16 will be on Monday morning, so we'll definitely be seeing what's going to happen.
Hoping for a good one.
Yeah, hopefully a good one. It'll
Yes.
be it'll be at 6 in the morning our time. Well, my time
Your
Eastern.
time.
Yours at 5 in the morning. You're probably just
I
gonna
won't be
get
up for
up.
that.
Yeah, you're probably.
Nah.
I mean, I usually get up for that and see what's up. It's usually like a Zidane or someone just shuffling the balls
Nah, I don't get up enough. I don't drink enough Red Bull to get up that early.
exactly. You might get into it. Jesse March got fired from RB Leipzig. Was there just for 3 months. This was the highest for any American coach to coach at a club in Europe.
Yeah.
RB Leipzig said, hey, we expected to be in the top 3 at least. Justin, is this a big blow for American coaching, or hey, Bob Bradley got ousted, like when he coached at Swansea, short stint, and then of course March with RB Leipzig. But what are your thoughts over this situation?
Saddened because it really looked like he was going to have the acumen to pull through. But again, it's just like a lot of it has to do with luck and timing, and it didn't line up for him, unfortunately. And I think he's going to get another shot, obviously. It might not be as high profile, but he's going to get another
Should
look
he stay
somewhere.
in Europe, you think, or?
You should try.
Yeah, I think so.
But it just depends on wherever that first job is going to be. That's going to give him a chance to run a club again.
Everton.
Obviously, he can do it. Obviously, he can do it at a high level. It's just not the lengths that the club and a club that's on kind of like on the upswing for the last few seasons was hoping. They want to continue going upward, and it's kind of like making stocks and making money. It's like you don't ever want to see it stagnate, and you definitely don't want to see it dip. You just want to see it go up.
Like crypto.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe Everton, but I know Rafa had a big win this past weekend, so that might delay if he ever went to Everton.
Could be in the championship. It could be in Scotland. He definitely seems like one of those coaches that's going to get a second look because despite being American, it seemed like he was able to win over a lot of critics with his work prior to this.
Yeah, very much so. But Jesse March, hey, great coach so far. We'll see what happens in the future. Ralph Rashnick, Justin, signed with Man United as an interim coach, but he's feared by Jurgen Klopp and Tuchel from Chelsea. What are your thoughts over this? Will this be the turn that Man United needed?
Ooh, I mean, I never want to see any turn from Man United as a City fan, but I suppose it's good to have them competitive. And right now, they're saying 7, 8 in the table, somewhere out of Europe right now.
Not too bad.
But still not where United should be and where their fans demand them to be. And coming from a Dallas Cowboys fan, I can totally get how Man United fans feel. Like they're used to being the best and they expect to be the best. And right now they're not the best and they don't know if they're ever going to be the best again. And it's hard to sleep at night when things are like that. But, I want to say that he's definitely going to invoke some energy that was missing with Ole in this team. But I don't know if he alone is going to be the difference maker for this club because there's still, you realize we're asking the same questions about this club from about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, even now. Where's Pogba going to play? Is he going to be there next year? That has been the continuous storyline for this club. How come they can't get the best of him? You have Bruno Fernandes, who was the best player in the Premier League last year, but can't play with Ronaldo because now he has to cover more space and he can't do what he used to do before Ronaldo got there. So you have they don't have the right personnel.
Yeah, and what I've been hearing that they have not adapted to the modern football game, where it's where you have the whole team involved, even from the goalkeeper passing and things like that. So they haven't adapted. They're still under it feels like the Sir Alex Ferguson era still a little bit. And
well, the question still remains the same. It's I can't believe that, De Gea is still the starting goalkeeper. I thought he'd be gone by now. Is he not going to be gone? Is he going to still be the number one? Is Luke Shaw really the best left back in England? Because he played like it for the England team. I don't know if he's playing like that for United right now. They have Wan-Bissaka. Where's Jadon Sancho? You spent all this money on him, but you have Ronaldo now, so it's like you have to play Ronaldo, but he doesn't press because he's Ronaldo, so he doesn't have to. But they just have so many personnel questions. I think it's just more than a coach.
So where would Ralph Rashnick and Man United end up in the Premier League table by May?
Knowing them, probably fifth.
Europa League, another Europa League berth.
That's what that. Well, I mean, they just finished top of the table in Champions League, so
that's true. So who knows? They could win the Champions League.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it? But no, I don't see that happening.
Redemption.
No, they're not that good.
They're not that good. Anyways,
when we're discussing England teams winning it, I didn't even bring up United.
I know.
So there's four England teams. All of them made it through to the next round.
I don't think they're favored though. Can they beat PSG?
If Messi isn't playing or if Mbappe's hurt, yeah, why not?
Okay, so one of the three has to be missing, or two.
Because I think they can take care of Messi just because he's older, but I think Mbappe would be a nightmare to try to match up with.
I mean, what was it? Harry Winks covering him? Maybe I don't know. Anyways,
Maguire.
Why am I thinking about Winks? Anything else before we head into predictions?
No, I can't really think of much else. I think we pretty much covered it all, man.
We covered it all, man. Leeds at Chelsea this weekend. Who you got?
Oh, Chelsea's going to look for a bounce-back performance after finishing second in Champions League, but they'll get it. Leeds isn't very good this year.
They got to because, Man City is already propped up the first already pretty fast.
That too.
Everton at Crystal Palace.
Ooh, trap game, but... now that I pick Everton, Crystal Palace would probably win. But I think Everton should win.
Rafa's stance stays strong after that. 2 games in a row. And then MLS championship game, NYFC versus Portland Timbers at Portland. What's going to happen there, Mr. Justin Simmons?
Oh, man. You want to say Portland because... they're one of those teams that you just know that they've been here before. When they get to the finals, they usually find a way to win. They found a way to get this far by going through some crazy playoff games that you would only see in MLS, right? Just some atrocious playoff games. But I want to pick NYCFC, and that's because they're the sister club of City. And I just like
you
the
have
way
that right
to
say
right
that.
now. Yeah, I was surprisingly they somehow have made it to the final. I didn't think it was going to be them, but they've done so. So I think they have a really good chance of winning.
Yeah, and then, of course, after beating New England Revolution, which they were number one, which is the argument now with the MLS. I think for the past 5 seasons at least, no number one seeds have made it to the final championship game.
It doesn't matter. As long as you're in it, you have a chance. And, I don't know. In MLS soccer, I don't think home field advantage is really that big of a deal.
Really?
Unless you're playing maybe here in Austin or in Atlanta.
Or Colorado.
Oh, well, because of the actual, landscape there.
Yeah,
but, fan-wise, it's not like an NFL game. It's not like going to Arrowhead or...
hostile environments.
Yeah, it's not like going to Green Bay.
Yeah, Portland maybe. I think Portland is pretty tense, it feels like.
Yeah, but it's not like Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle stuff, dude.
So it's just kind of I don't think it means as much in MLS. So you can have a good run out of nowhere. That's what NYCFC did.
Yeah, you know what I wish, which is not going to happen, for them to have a stadium in somewhere in New York City, but to have a stadium there is just, you're going to be moved to New Jersey or to Long Island.
I mean, you never know. You just never know. Maybe with that ownership group, they would spend the money and find their own spot. It might not be in the heart of Manhattan.
Yeah.
But, I can definitely see something maybe in the Bronx, or I know it's insanely expensive, but these are the people that have the real money, the stuff I can only monopolize about.
Yeah. Well, MLS final is on Saturday, December 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So looking forward to that. Of course, is one of the few MLS games I watch. I sorry to say that, but that's
Understandable.
yeah. But hopefully in the future I'll be watching more MLS. Anyways, poll question of the day: what is your favorite brownie? Fudge walnut brownie, blondie, peanut butter brownies, or double chocolate brownies?
Ooh, wow. I don't even have a favorite brownie. I didn't know there was multiple types until you started naming all those. And I was like, wow. I like chocolate, but I'm not like a brownie connoisseur.
You're not
I
a
mean,
brownie ice cream type of guy?
no, I am. But like, there's a couple of places here in town, like Cover Three, that usually makes theirs from scratch, and those are pretty good.
Oof.
But then sometimes you'll go into like some of these restaurants and they give you like one of those frozen Hershey brownies, that you can get at the store, and all they did was just warm it up in their like microwave there at the place. So it can go either way. But I mean, that double chocolate one sounds good, but I also like the one with the walnut because it feels good to pretend to be eating somewhat healthy while eating bad, because there's some good nutritional value in the walnut.
So what's your pick?
I'll go with the one with the walnuts, just so I feel a little healthier.
Have you ever tried that Snicker brownie almond bar?
Nah, I can't say that I have. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Like they, obviously, yeah, it's a candy bar at the end of the day, but it tastes close to a brownie.
Wow. No, because I mean, I like the peanut butter one that they have, but I haven't tried that one. They used to make like a dark one with almonds at one time that I really liked too.
Yeah, like the almonds had their trend lately with Snickers. I know Snickers is trying to do some new bars. I guess no one's buying their original.
You want to try to be a little bit healthier, and like dark chocolate better than milk chocolate, and I don't crave Snickers like I used to when I was a kid anymore.
Oh, that's a good thing. Have you tried the
Yeah.
salty donut in Austin yet?
No, man, it's not really close to where I live, and it's like Austin's got to that point where if it's not within like 10 to 15 minutes in your hood, like it's like you're gonna fight traffic to get there. It's like that's the bad thing about it, Santi. It's like, one, I know I'm gonna have to drive like 15-20 minutes just to get there. And then because it's one of those places that looks really good on Instagram, like I'm gonna have to wait like another 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna have all these questions and then they're not gonna be able to answer them because there's probably gonna be a line, because there's all these people that are gonna want to be there, especially if I go on a weekend, because the Salty Donut is located right off of South Congress, which is a huge tourist destination here. So I'm just kind of like, I'm hoping to go there during the day, like when I have to work a basketball game, because I pass it on the way to the university. So I'm like, if I can swoop in around 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon when nobody else is going to be there, maybe.
Justin, we should have a random podcast where we just talk about foods in Austin and Miami. We just give ourselves our reviews. That'd be funny.
Oh man, I've always wanted to do something like that, because as a sports broadcaster, I eat out a lot. But the problem is like, I find my meals and then I can stick to the same one because I've been trying to watch my weight.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. I wish I had those metabolism where I can eat whatever I want, go to buffet, and not worry about it the next day. But that's not the case.
Both.
But we got to eat the lettuce wrap burgers as much as we can.
I should. I don't, but I should.
Justin Simmons, what is the best way to reach you online to talk to you about P. Terry's?
To talk to me about P. Terry's, you can find me at The Smash Simmons on all my social media. So TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch even. And if you want to send me some money on Cash App or on Venmo, you can find me at The Smash Simmons also. See, the branding straight across the board.
The Smash Simmons, you definitely got the branding right. It's interesting because I always get mixed you up with like a rock star or something, but you are a rock star broadcaster, though.
I like to pretend that I am in my own little world. I'm the Ric Flair broadcasting without the sexual harassment,
Exactly. Anyways, you can reach us at the Sportscast1 on Twitter or thesportscast.net. Tomorrow we'll have the Jersey Boys Sports Talk. They'll be talking about the Giants and looking forward to NFC East. This month in the NFL is a lot of divisional games. So looking forward to it. And, of course, Justin is a huge Cowboy fan. So
How about them Cowboys?
they're looking good, man. I think they're going to win the NFC East. Super Bowl, not sure, but we'll see.
Dude, you say they're going to win the NFC East, man? They still have to play the Eagles at the last week of the season. You know how that game always goes.
Yeah, that's a troubling game, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping. But Zeke's banged up, and they're playing, Washington this week?
Hey,
so
it's time for the Tony Pollard. He's number one now, I think.
Man. Well, that's not bad for me because I don't have either running back on my fantasy team. But I know somebody out there took Zeke with their number one pick, and I feel bad now.
I'm out in fantasy. I've been out for 2 weeks, so I'll just lay it low and not be stressful. Enjoy some football and red zone.
That's usually the best way to do it because the last 3 weeks have been crazy for fantasy. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Well, Justin Simmons, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on to the Sportscast.
Hey, you got it. Thanks again for having me on, Santi, and we'll talk again later on.
See you, mate.